Jill Scott.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I'm taking my freedom, pulling it off the shelf, putting it on my chain, ready from my neck. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my car, wherever I choose to go. Yeah, it will take me far. Living my life right, living my life like it's golden, like it's important, like it's matters, like it's special. Yeah. I'm holding on to my freedom, can't take it from me. I was born into it, it comes naturally. I'm strumming my own freedom, playing the God in me, representing His glory. I know He knows all of me. He knows all of me.
What if I told you a black woman was yanked from her home, stripped of her dignity, and left topless in the back of a police car while they stared, and then they had the nerve to call it justice? Don't blink, because what you're about to hear will make you question everything you thought you knew about law and order. Only in Atlanta can you leave the house half dressed and still get arrested like you started the crime and not just survived one. Welcome to Unorganized Chaos Network. I'm the evangelist of entertainment. The church couldn't handle me, so here I am on the YouTubes. Topless and Traumatized, the Cop City lawsuit shocking Atlanta. This should not. Topless and Traumatized and Cop and lawsuit don't seem like they match or should ever go together for whatever reason. But apparently so. Topless and Traumatized Smith sued Atlanta officer Watson in federal court on May 23rd, 2025. These are the allegations. During a pre-dawn SWAT-style raid, Smith was forcibly removed from her home, handcuffed, and left topless in a squad car for several hours while officers allegedly stared and one masked officer allegedly took a photo. During a pre-dawn SWAT-style raid. Why did it have to be a pre-dawn SWAT-style raid? Smith is a female. Was she living with another male? Was Smith a felon? Was Smith known to have large amounts of weapons? Has Smith threatened anybody? Why did it have to be pre-dawn? Most people are in the bed at pre-dawn. And why did it have to be a SWAT-style raid? A pre-dawn SWAT-style raid, and you wonder why people are voting or protesting against Cop City. Me personally, I'm neither protesting for it or against it, but I definitely can see why people are protesting against it. Instead of building Cop City, how about we make some schools for police officers to go to learn de-escalation techniques? During a pre-dawn SWAT-style raid, nothing about that says de-escalation. Smith was forcibly removed from her home. Why did she have to be forcibly removed from her home? Why? Was Smith bigger than everybody? I said a SWAT-style raid. SWAT-style. Every time I've seen the SWAT-style, it was more than one. And most of them were big and strong men and women. So you mean to tell me this one female had to be forcibly removed from her home during a SWAT-style raid? Forcibly removed from her home doing a SWAT-style, and Smith apparently was so dangerous, y'all couldn't even let her put on some clothes. Y'all had to put her in handcuffs while she was topless. and put her in a squad car for several hours. Topless in a squad car for several hours. Make it make sense. The sense ain't sensing to me. The sense is, where is the common sense? I mean, you don't even have to be a police officer to know, hey, this is I have social anxiety. I don't go to the store, but let's just say I was in a Walmart parking lot and I saw a female topless in the back seat of a car. As a citizen, I was like, something wrong. Something ain't right about this. Now I'm wondering, okay, should I call the cops? Because I don't know if it's the cops who put it in the car backseat topless. While officers allegedly stared, and one masked officer allegedly took a photo. Have y'all seized or did open records request or a discovery for the phones that were on the scene during this pre-done SWAT style raid? All the phones. I mean, I see no de-escalation doing this. Not only doing this, but there's a debriefing and then there's a briefing before the matter. Did anybody with any type of brain cells think any of this through? I'm still stuck at the pre-done SWAT style raid on one person. Now, all of this is allegedly. If somebody got to tell me, I want to know something. I mean, you don't have to tell me something, but I'm not going to say somebody tell me something. But this ain't making sense to me. The sense is not sensing. It ain't common sense. It's no sense. Nothing is making sense. This is allegedly a violation of her Fourth Amendment right, unreasonable seizure, and expectation of bodily privacy. Why? Why would you handcuff a female? Now, I wonder if she was a male and was sleep butt naked and got out the bed. Wouldn't y'all say, hey, let's get him some pants or some shorts to put on before we put handcuffs on him? I guarantee you, I can bet my bottom penny that if it was a male, somebody will all of a sudden get some sense and say, hey, let's put some boxes on this man before we put some handcuffs on him, because we don't want him around here with his wee out exposed to the world. The sense ain't sensing. That's all I'm saying. Now, gratefully, she has an attorney. Maybe this attorney can make some sense out of this, but the attorney is arguing the qualified immunity thingy. The case is challenging the doctrine of qualified immunity and could set a new precedent for enforcing constitutional rights and humiliating police interactions. Constitutional rights in humiliating police interactions. Humiliating police interactions should never occur. If they never occurred, they would never be in this sentence. How about in de-escalating police interactions instead of humiliating police interactions? I mean, I have some diagnoses, I do, but so forgive me for that, but the sense ain't sensing, and I'm just like, wow. And all of this allegedly for a protest. Now, I don't know if Smith burnt up somebody or burnt up some property, anything like that. Okay, what is you do the time, you do the crime, you do the time. What is the maximum penalty for destruction of property? Does it include handcuffing someone topless? Does it include pre-done SWAT style raids? I'm not getting. Then y'all bring all of the ABCs, DEFs there. The raid was part of a multi-agency effort with the APD, the FBI, the ATF. Now you think with all of these alphabets that somebody, one of these letters, would have some type of a sense to say, hey, let's find a top for the topless Smith. So nobody out of the APD, FBI, or ATF. The raid was part of a multi-agency effort targeting individuals suspected of arson at police property during protests against Cop City. Well, I would just like to say thank you for not burning down her house. Thank you so much. I pray it's still standing. And I pray, Ms. Smith, if you did participate in arson or arsenic events or whatever, or the burning down of anything that did not belong to you, if you did happen to do that, then you do have to face the consequences of the choices that you've made. And I also pray that these APD, FBI, ATF, pre-done SWAT style raid mass officers also pay the consequences for the choices that they have made. I've not read in any SOP anywhere or in any OCGA anywhere where tell me what is the threat of allowing someone who is topless to put on a shirt. You can even go pick it out. Say, hey, excuse me, man, we're about to put you in handcuffs. Can you tell me where your tops are located so I can make sure that you don't have anything in this shirt that may hurt me? If you're that scared to put on a shirt of a topless female, you just have to put it in handcuffs first. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. This can't be real. This what you call it? You can put this on Fear Factor. This is, it's like this can't be real. Like it's a joke somebody has made up. Like I got you is gonna come out. So who is that be on Steve Harvey that be doing those jokes? Nephew Tommy. Was Nephew Tommy out there doing this? Is somebody about to say who's the baddest man on radio? They say this incident is tied to the broader Stop Cop City protest. Okay. It's tied to a protest. Are protests illegal? Do we still have the right to protest? Do we protest topless? Was she protesting with no top on? So y'all decided to arrest her without a top on? Was that the case? Is everybody out here protesting with no top on? I wouldn't be surprised if everybody showed up now at the precinct with no top on and say, hey, arrest me. I'm not wearing a top. I mean, it's just, I wouldn't be surprised if they arrest her for not wearing and for putting handcuffs on her, rather, instead of saying arresting, excuse me. I would not be surprised if they put handcuffs on her, put her in the squad car for topless in the squad car, left her in there for hours. I would not be surprised if they did say, oh, I took a picture so we can charge her with indecent exposure. I would not be surprised if whoever just all of a sudden masked officer, y'all couldn't get an officer who didn't have a mask on to take the picture if y'all needed the photo for evidence. I won't be shocked if the picture's ever found, if the police who are going to be investigating the police ever have a discovery request to get all the phones, if they ever find out who had the mask on. Was this person so dangerous y'all even had to put a mask on? Doing a pre-done SWAT style raid. For what, as far as I know, only one person got arrested. Y'all used a whole pre-done SWAT style raid. Then y'all learn y'all lesson from the poor, bless her heart, the poor older black woman. Y'all went in her house and unalived her, APD. You know what? If y'all have the same people that are there now that were there then, when the precious soul got unalive by people going into the wrong house and unalive, they're the same people are in charge. We have a problem, APD, because it looks like even years later, y'all still have the same mentality. I read this news report article. I didn't see de-escalation skills nowhere. If we are we heavy on the de-escalation or heavy on the militarizing? You know what I'm trying to say? It seems like to me, y'all trying to make Cop City a military base. I wouldn't be surprised if y'all start storing tanks and military equipment and all of that out of there. I'm not saying that's wrong. Nothing is wrong with that. Do get all the resources you need to protect yourself. But the way it's looking, before y'all are even finished building it, the way you acting now, you can't even de-escalate now. And when you get in there in Cop City and see all the toys that you got to play with, the extra toys, do you think it's going to get better or worse? Because nothing about military equipment says de-escalation to me. That's my personal opinion. Human dignity and privacy. Apparently, human dignity and privacy don't mean anything if you dealing with pre-done SWAT style raids and APD. The allegation that a woman was held, exposed, and photographed in custody pushes civil liberties concerns into stark relief. I'm seriously sitting here trying to think of what reason would you hold a woman exposed and photographed? What is so threatened that you can't put clothes on her? You can even call for an ambulance, fire department, or fireman to come over there and give them a sheet or a blanket to put on. Excuse my dog. He's not even my dog, my parents' dog, but for some reason he trapped himself in the room with me. I don't know why, but he does that a lot. Bless his heart. If the officers cannot hide behind immunity, this could open new pathways for accountability and civil rights enforcement. New pathways. I have an issue with new pathway. It should not be a new pathway to hold officers accountable and to enforce civil rights. Why does there have to be a new pathway to hold you accountable for something you are already supposed to be held accountable for? You mean to tell me that y'all got to find a new pathway to learn how to enforce and to not violate people's civil rights? Are you serious? You serious? Bless your heart. Wow. Y'all need a classroom, not a Cop City. Yes, y'all need a class. You need a school. When it at a school, the police academy at a school, that's when you need to stay at that school, stay in those classrooms, get you a teacher with chalk and a chalkboard, and teach de-escalation skills. Teach them how to not violate anybody's civil rights. But you need to tell me that now, hey, we need to figure out how to open new pathways to hold ourselves accountable and to learn how not to violate people's civil rights. And at the meantime, continue to build Cop City. Am I making any sense? Am I right or am I right? I just need to know. Am I thinking differently? This lawsuit may influence how future SWAT style or multi-agency interventions are carried out, especially from a privacy standpoint. I hope this is sad to me that it takes a lawsuit. It literally takes a lawsuit. It's not funny, but these are grown people, right? These were not little kids, right? Just playing around with each other and taking the shirt off, or I guess teenagers do that, not little kids in school. These are grown people. Multi-agency, multi-alphabets, a lot of people involved, and nobody knew any de-escalation techniques. Nobody knew how to hold themselves accountable. So now they have to now a lawsuit has to be filed to help our dear precious police officers. They are very good police officers. Not all police officers are bad. But to help police officers find new pathways to hold themselves accountable and to not violate anybody's civil rights. Wow. Bless your hearts. Now I pray y'all be safe out there, please. I don't want anybody to cause any hurt, harm, danger, death to any of y'all. And I mean that. I used to be one. I'm just thinking about me. I can't imagine me being on any scene with anybody and seeing a woman in handcuffs with no shirt. The first thing out of my mouth would be, hey, where her shirt at? That would be the first thing. I don't have to be a police sergeant, a police corporal, an FTO. I could be a rookie and look at somebody in handcuffs with no shirt on and be like, hey, why she ain't got no shirt on? I don't even have to be a police officer. I could just be a stand-by or whatever, not a protester, a pedestrian walking down the sidewalk and turn around and look and see y'all got a lady in handcuffs with no shirt on and be like, hey, she can have my shirt. I mean, just make it make sense. The case places a spotlight on two intersecting issues: the intrusive, potentially humiliating methods used during police raids. Potentially humiliating methods. So handcuffing a topless person could potentially be a humiliating method. Unless you're a nudist and enjoy being nude out in public, I can't think of anybody I know of who would not be humiliated being in handcuffs and no shirt. She got bracelets, but no shirt. There's no potentiality at all in this situation. It is straight up humiliating. Let's not play word games. This is a humiliating method used during a police raid. And why is it a police raid? I got to see this person that y'all put handcuffs on. This must be the biggest woman in the state of Georgia who was able to beat up Hulk Hogan, was able to beat up Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, and everybody else. For it to have been a SWAT style pre-dawn raid. And as far as I know, y'all only put one person in custody without a shirt. The shirt was too dangerous. The shirt was a weapon. Wow. No, it's a song I like. My praise is a weapon. Maybe I shouldn't praise, and I don't want them to Arrest me for praising the effectiveness of qualified immunity as protection for officers in such scenarios. I have no issue, no problem with any officer getting qualified immunity when they have done their job and not violated any SOP or not violate anybody's civil rights or not violate any laws. They was enforcing the law, and in the process mistake, even a deadly mistake was made, and it could be horrific for all parties involved. And because they happen to have chosen the job of being a police officer and enforcing the law, they may have had to make a decision in a quick split second that will be judged by a judge or jury for God knows however long. So in certain situations, I can't think of one now, I can see where, okay, qualified immunity, and this is just straight up polite nonsense. It's not even polite. This is, I want to say stupidity. That's what keep coming to me, but I don't want to call any police officer stupid. I just need more facts. I just need more to know more. I guess I shouldn't say no more until I know more. But since I have the right and the freedom of speech, and since I'm not in Atlanta, I pray that I don't get a pre-done SWAT style raid while in my bed. I detect sometimes I sleep naked. Now, because I live with my parents right now, I don't do that. Out of respect for my parents. But sometimes, yes, I do, with just my boxers on or something like that. So never like completely naked, but sometimes I do sleep topless, especially if I'm hot or something like that, or for whatever the matter may be. If the court rules in Smith's favor, it could drive significant reform in custodial conduct. You mean to tell me that it would have to take the court to rule in Smith's favor for them to reform custodial conduct? They should already done said, hey, let's not do that no more. They should have already, and it's sad that they would literally, I'm sorry, I'm crazy. I said it's sad and then laugh, but to me, the sense ain't sense. It ain't making sense. It's sad to me that they're gonna literally, well, I feel they literally need to put into the SOP, do not arrest anybody naked unless there's no other choice. And if you have to arrest them or put handcuffs on them naked, get a firefighter or ambulance, or even if you have make sure they all just have a blanket in their car, a sheet or something. You don't even have to, just a piece of cloth, something. Or do what Adam and Eve did and tie some tree branches together or something with some leaves. Just cover them up. And take off your uniform. Get them your t-shirt under your uniform. And then put your top back on. But it just, but the fact, this statement says, if the court rules in Smith's favor, it could drive significant reform in custodial conduct. Whether or not the court rules in Smith's favor, it still should drive significant reform in custodial conduct. Apparently, there needs to be significant reform in custodial conduct. If you're arresting people topless, there needs to be significant reform in custodial conduct. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for liking. I really appreciate you. There should be no if the court rules in Smith's favor. Whether they rule in her favor or not, it shouldn't even take a lawsuit. Y'all, somebody upstairs somewhere, or wherever y'all say the higher ups need to be, or wherever they at, somebody, not even that, somebody in Atlanta, anybody should say, hey, how about we just don't put handcuffs on people until they put some clothes on? How about we just stick with that? Can we at least do that? Okay, this is from The Guardian. A federal lawsuit was filed on May 23rd, 2025 by Smith named Atlanta PD Officer Watson. As far as I know, Watson was a female also. Now, I don't know if that is true or accurate, but allegedly, this Officer Watson was a female officer also. I'm all the way confused. Watson, if that was you, or if that was a sister friend, a sister girlfriend, a best friend, your mom, your sister, would you think what happened was decent and orderly? Would you feel some type of way if that happened to you? I know sometimes citizens that we're sworn on the oath to serve and protect do some outrageous and crazy stuff and say some crazy stuff. And police are people too. Trust me, police are people too. And maybe you just, was frustrated, and during your frustration, you decide to put handcuffs on. Okay, I can give grace. I need grace. I can give grace. I can give grace for that. But after the handcuffs go on, shouldn't an ounce, a piece, a part of you say, okay, now let's get a shirt. Let's get a top to put on you. According to the complaint, Smith was detained during a pre-done SWAT-style raid linked to the Cop City protest on February 8, 2024. She claims officers forcibly removed her from her home. Why did the officers need to forcibly remove her from her home? What did she do? Was there an immediate threat? Was there extenuating circumstances? Was the house on fire? Why was she forcibly removed from her home? Was there extenuating circumstances? Did y'all have to go to McDonald's or something before the special ended or something? I don't understand why she was forcibly removed from her home. Like, we got to get you out of here. We got to handcuff. Forget a shirt. We got to put handcuffs on and get you out this house. Was the house about to blow up? What is going on? Forcibly removed her from her home, handcuffed her, then kept her topless in a squad car for several hours. Now, they have body cams, they have dash cams, they have squad car cams. Was the cams facing the back seat where this individual sat, where Smith was at? Did anyone at any point during these several hours say, "Man, let's go get a top"? Was y'all too busy? How many people is in this house? Is the house still standing? Did the house collapse or anything? Y'all had to forcibly remove her. So, is something wrong with the house? Is the foundation collapsing or something? Did y'all forcibly remove her for her safety? During which multiple officers allegedly stared and one masked officer took her photo. The fact that you allegedly stared at her tells me she was not a threat. If you have the time to stare at something that's threatening you, something is either wrong with you or something is staring at you that is not a threat. If anything, she should be the one scared, especially with people who are carrying weapons on their hips are staring at me and I'm topless. I would be scared if that were me, because I don't know what type of story you're going to make up and put in your false incident report, allegedly. The lawsuit asserts these actions violated Smith's Fourth Amendment right. I said violated all of her rights. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, all 10 of the commandments. They have violated absolutely every right, law, scripture that there is. They done violated everything. The lawsuit asserts these actions violate Smith's Fourth Amendment rights, accusing officials of humiliating and exploitative behavior. Y'all ain't never seen a woman topless before. You know, the wonderful city of Atlanta have this wonderful, nice place you can go to called Magic City. And you can see anything you want to see topless all day and night. You ain't even got to put nobody in handcuffs. They'll do it for you for free. Or you can give them a tip, or you can make it rain, or you can get a private room. It's called Magic City. You don't have to put a topless woman in a squad car and go and look and peep and put a mask on and take pictures. Yeah, they have places for you that you can do that out. And just a public service announcement I just wanted to make for those of you officers who didn't know. You can be a cop and go to a strip club. I don't think you should do both of them at the same time. Wait till you go get off duty or go before you get on duty. Don't wear any type of a uniform or anything that acknowledges you as a police officer. Just go there as a patriot. Don't intimidate anybody by saying, hey, I'm the popo, or anything like that. I don't understand why people would do that. I guess they do it to make themselves feel important. Now, I've seen it personally done where officers off duty would go places they didn't even have. Nobody would ever known unless they said something. You know, true story. I was a police officer for 13 years. Do you know I had family members who didn't even know I was an officer until I was fired and terminated? I never intentionally, purposely told anyone that I was a police officer. The main reason was because I have 3 kids. I have children. That was the main reason. I would be upset if my neighbor knocked on my door because they knew I was a cop, and they was upset because their auntie, girlfriend's cousin, boyfriend, hamburger son hit them and they wanted some advice. Yeah, sick. When I went to see family, I didn't have my uniform on. I think I might have worn my uniform to church one time. That's when they was wanted to honor. They asked anybody who was in public service or something like that to come to church in uniform or something like that. I can't even remember. Was it Law Enforcement Appreciation Day or something? I don't know. I have to ask Bishop Sonia. God bless her. That's a great, wonderful, great bishop at Rim Church in Atlanta, Georgia. But yeah, that's the only time I can think of. And I'm trying to be true and accurate here. I'm trying to think of any other time I've ever worn my uniform without getting paid. Because my thing is, if I'm putting this uniform on, I better be on somebody's clock or on my way to somebody's clock to get paid. But yeah, that's the only time that I can recall at this moment. But for y'all who might be watching me for the first time, remember, I do have a traumatic brain injury that messes with my concentration and memorization. It is medically documented, so that's why I have to write stuff down on my tablet to remember what I'm talking about to keep me focused or whatnot. But that's the only time I can remember. But anyway, I said that since because I've been in restaurants before. This was years ago. I haven't been in a restaurant in years due to my social anxiety. I can't remember. It's been so long where I can't remember for real the last time. So I'm not going to try to remember. Anyway, but I remember when I used to go inside of restaurants, I would see people. Well, I never know. Now, some people just have this look. You just know, okay, this person is an officer, or, you know, where they position themselves or the terminology used. But I've been at a bar before, just sitting there. My favorite bar to go to whenever I was alone. Don't be ashamed or afraid to eat alone. You can meet a lot of people like that. I'm in Columbus now, so I don't know what they have here. But when I was in the Atlanta, Georgia area, there was this particular restaurant I would go to. And I would sit at the bar. I would go by myself. And I would have the most wonderful time. And this was after my wife died. Only reason why I went was and I would go to the movies by myself. after my wife, because she loved going to the movies and she loved going to this particular restaurant. So I continued to go. I did that for a while. It was therapeutic for me while going through grief counseling. So I would do it, but instead of getting a table for two, I would just sit at the bar. And I met wonderful people. Recently, I remember one time I was sitting at the bar, and this guy sat beside me, a older black male, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good. You look good. You smell good. Like, what you doing?" He said, "Oh, I'm headed to church." He had on a full suit, so I was just thinking maybe he was about to go on a hot date. Is what I was thinking. Like, you look good, you smell good. You about to go on a date or something. It's like, no, I'm headed to church, and I'm like, sir, you got 2 beers in front of you. He said, yeah, I have to drink before I. No, he said I have to have my communion before I go to church. But we had the bestest of time. I don't have no idea who this man is. I don't know if you ever see this video and remember it or something like that. But I mean, that stuck with me. I think I even called my mom and told her about it after that, but I can't remember. But I do remember that part because that was just that's something you won't forget. But thank God he had a shirt on. It wasn't handcuffed, topless. Okay, there was a spokesperson for APD declined to comment, citing ongoing litigation. Okay, I can respect that. You have the right to remain silent, APD. But you also violated her rights at the same time. So you're going to uphold your right to decline any comments, citing ongoing litigation. So you're not going to bother with violating any policy or LP that will put you in danger due to an ongoing litigation. But you don't mind doing anything else to put anyone else in danger by violating your own SOP. What is Cop City for the people who are not familiar with Cop City? It's Atlanta's Public Safety Training Center. Now, I didn't find out till I read the news article. It's over 85 acres. Wow. I don't know why they need it to be that big. I'm sure it must going to be very beautiful. Very nice. Maybe that'll be a morale booster for recruits and the police officers. So I have no issue with it being 85 acres. I just didn't realize it's going to be that one. To me, now I can't tell you how big an acre is, but to me, when I see acres, I think of football field without the end zones, if that makes sense to you. So when I saw 85 acres, in my mind popped up 85 football fields. I was like, wow, that's the entire downtown, midtown, and uptown, and Buckhead is what I was thinking. I was like, okay, that's very big. So they have money for this public safety training center, apparently 85 acres. I don't know if they paid for it. It was donated I don't know. I just hope that they spend more money and focus on de-escalation techniques and making sure people have clothes on before handcuffs on, before any type of a military vehicles or equipment show up there, because I believe that that's the number one issue that some of these protesters are having, that they don't want the police department to become militarized. I can see both views. I can see why the police want the equipment to help protect them from topless women in houses by themselves. Maybe they feel like they need a SWAT style raid to help protect them from topless women. I can also see the citizens' point of view. I think that could be very intimidating to show up in a tank to arrest a topless woman, pre-done SWAT style, in a military tank for protesting, which is not illegal. Allegedly, that's what Critics argue the facility amplifies aggressive policing tactics. Well, they got the aggressive policing tactics now. They don't need a training facility to teach them how to be aggressive. They need this training facility to teach them how to de-escalate and to make sure the women have clothes on before they have bracelets on. Activist resistance, a sustained protest movement including occupations and direct actions, has fought the development, sometimes resulting in intense clashes. I wonder why these clashes are so intense. Now, would you call a pre-done SWAT style raid intense? Would you call forcibly removing a topless female out of her home intense? Would you call that an intense clash? Would you call leaving a handcuffed topless female in the back seat of a squad car for hours intense? I can see why the activists and the protests are out there. I can see why. Again, I do see both. I literally can see both arguments, the police side, the citizen side. Police are citizens also, but when police put the uniform on, I guess sometimes they forget that they're still citizens. I don't know. Turn with me, if you will, please, to Isaiah 61:7. And herein you will find these words. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. Double portion. Turn to your neighbor and say double portion. That was the wrong neighbor. Turn to your other neighbor and say double portion. Double portion. You will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, instead of being handcuffed with no shirt on, instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. Your test is going to be your testimony, Miss Smith. I just read it to you. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. And instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land. Now they got 85 acres of land. What's 85 times 2? 0.167. Is that 170? You will inherit 170 acres of land, and everlasting joy will be yours. Ain't God good? That's how you turn a mess into a message and a test into a testimony. You go to the Bible. Let's see what the Bible say about handcuffing topless women. It's right here, Isaiah 61:7. It's in the Bible. Just read it to you. Go read it for yourself. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. Sound like to me 107 acres. Forget the 40 acres in the mule. You can get 107 acres. And instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land. How much did they pay for each acre of land of that 85 acres? One of y'all Google that for me. Whatever that is, or however much they putting into building this cop city. Is it in this article somewhere? You're going to receive double portion for that. Oh, look like it. Okay, Cop City, officially the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. 85 acres of taxpayer-funded police fantasy camp. Cost $90 million. Look at God. Somebody say double portion. $90 million. Miss Smith, according to Isaiah, where my Bible verse at? According to Isaiah 61:7, instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. You didn't even have to get on a stripper pole. All you had to do is lay in your bed and wait for the pre-done SWAT team to raid your home and forcibly remove you out of your home in handcuffs without a shirt, and for being topless, you get $180 million. We're going to speak that into existence. Be in alignment with it. You can build your own cop city. Or call it whatever. It's called it Smith City. Build your own Smith City. And hire some cops with some common sense. Test them out first. Give them a scenario. And make sure you test your own Smith Department cops out first. $90 million. Look at Isaiah 61:7. Look at God. This verse reminds us that God restores what humiliation tried to destroy. When you read it in the word, this verse reminds us that God restores what humiliation tried to destroy. God is restoring you. They might have put some iron or some metal handcuffs on you, but you about to get you some diamond bracelets or whatever you want. Matter of fact, how about this? You get your settlement or whatever y'all gonna do, whatever. I don't know what you're asking for, so I don't even know if you want any money or not. Buy them some tops, buy them some shirts, just so they can put it in their police cards and say, hey, if y'all ever arrest a female without a shirt on, I just want to make sure that every officer in Atlanta has a shirt, a top to give a woman, so they won't have to go through what I went through. I think you should at least do that. Buy some shirts. And let the shirt say, hey, I support APD. Whatever they want on it, just do it that way. Trauma and recovery, the aftermath of violence from domestic abuse to political terror. This is by Judith L. Herman, MD. This seminal work explores how trauma deeply affects individuals and communities and outlines the stages of healing from establishing safety to reclaiming power and connection. It speaks directly to the emotional journey of surviving abuse, exposure, and systems that fail us, offering profound insight into justice and restoration. Watch this movie called Detroit. Came out in 2017, I think. But watch this movie called Detroit. It's a drama chronicles the horrifying 1967 Algiers motel raid where black residents harassed, beaten, and dehumanized by police. They endure egregious violations of their dignity. It serves as a stark mirror to the Cop City incident, exposing how authority can strip individuals of their basic rights and respect. Their basic rights and respects to not go to jail or be put in handcuffs topless. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I appreciate you for being here. Killing in the Name is a song by Rage Against the Machine. It's a ferocious anthem of defiance against police brutality, immortalizing the anger sparked by the 1992 Rodney King beating. Its explosive refrain, F you, I won't do what you tell me, captures the raw emotion of refusing to be silenced in the face of abuse by authority. Refusing to be silenced in the face of abuse by authority. That track's energy and message mirror the fire behind Topless and Traumatized. The Cop City lawsuit shocking Atlanta. It reinforces the power of speaking truth to power and refuses to blink in the face of injustice. The only thing that stands between the government and people seeking to vindicate their constitutional rights is qualified immunity. But when trauma like this goes unaddressed, any case that pushes past that barrier has the potential to set a precedent. That's from Patrick Giacomo, Senior Attorney for the Institute for Justice. Emma Smith, I'm going to say a prayer for you. I'm going to pray for the broken and bold. God of justice, restorer of dignity, we come before you trembling with truth and tired from the trauma. A daughter of yours was stripped, not just of her clothing, but of her humanity. And still she stands. Still she speaks. Still she dares to demand justice in a system built to silence her. Lord, we cry out for every woman whose body was treated like evidence. For every voice muted behind a badge. For every wound wrapped not in bandages but in bureaucracy. Let the courtroom be her sanctuary. Let the jury see her full humanity. Let every chain of shame be broken. Surround her with angels in human form, advocates, healers, truth tellers. Strip away the lies like they tried to strip her, and clothe her instead in courage, clarity, and conviction. We declare her body is sacred, her voice is powerful, and her pain will not go unseen. From ashes to armor, from trauma to testimony, let her rise. Amen. Topless and Traumatized, the Cop City lawsuit shocking Atlanta. Now listen, not every fight is loud. Some are silent. Some are topless. Some are cold steel on brown skin in the back of a squad car while somebody whispers, "We got the wrong one." But nobody opens the door. Let's get to it. Let's talk about Cop City, where trees fall and silence costs lives, where a woman ain't even got a damn t-shirt before getting locked up. And you want to scroll past that? Nope, not today. This ain't about protest. This ain't about police. This is about power and how they dress it up in a badge and undress us in the dark. They dragged her out topless, cuffed, and left her in a squad car for hours. No sheet, no sweatshirt, just stares and silence. That ain't policy, that's punishment. Cop City, officially the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, is 85 acres of taxpayer-funded police fantasy camp. Cost over $90 million. The purpose is simulated urban warfare. The purpose behind the Cop City, in my opinion, will be the failure behind Cop City. If the purpose is simulated urban warfare, can you imagine the alignment, the law of attraction, and the power of your words you have used to put behind the purpose of building Cop City? Simulated urban warfare? You're preparing for something that in your mind's imagination will happen. Thoughts become things. Simulated urban warfare will be a reality urban warfare because that's what you are planning for. That is what your purpose is. Somebody needs to redo this, undo this, re-envision or reimagine this. This ain't good. What's really at stake here? Your body, your dignity, your right to protest, to rest, to breathe. Our image, when the system shows up dressed like war, guess who they fight first? Seriously, guess who they gonna fight first? After this Cop City, they gonna fight topless women and put them in handcuffs. That's who they gonna fight first. Not just topless women, but topless brown-skinned women. They telling you, they showing you now. Just look at it. Look at what they are doing now. The best way to predict the future is to look at what's going on right now. Bruno, be quiet. Everybody should care about this, even if you're not in Atlanta. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I just want to make sure that you know your rights. Fourth Amendment protects against unlawful search, seizure, and nudity in police custody. Why is anybody purposely nude in police custody? Unless you stripped your own clothes off for whatever reason, you're high, drunk, or whatever. Demand policy change. Humiliation is not a police tactic. It's a trauma. Don't normalize this. Say it out loud. Topless ain't protocol. It's a shame that we have to say this. Topless ain't protocol. The officers feared for their safety. Wow. She was unarmed, topless, in handcuffs. Why are you afraid of your safety? She was suspected of criminal activity. Suspicion ain't a license to dehumanize. You can't maybe your way into stripping people's rights. It was a chaotic scene. Who made it chaotic? She was sleeping in her bed, resting peacefully. Yeah, I could at least waited till she got up and got dressed and ready for work and walked out the door. Slavery was also a chaotic scene. Stonewall was a chaotic scene. Chaos does not excuse cruelty. Ask yourself this: if that was your sister, your lover, or your reflection in the mirror, would silence still feel safe? What does protection mean when the protectors become predators? What kind of city builds a cop Disneyland in a black forest and calls that progress? No, she wasn't charged with the violent crime. She wasn't armed. She was detained for hours. Yes, the lawsuit is real, and the trauma is too. Don't try to explain this foolishness away. Interrogate it. Challenge it. I am not their rehearsal for violence. She is not their rehearsal for violence. Some people say they were just doing their job. Bull Connor was just doing his job. Slave catchers were just doing their job. Every man who ever said calm down is just a routine check. Wow. If your job requires stripping a woman and leaving her exposed, it ain't law enforcement. It's legalized humiliation. Topless becomes traumatized. Traumatized becomes testimony. Testimony becomes transformation, but only if we do something. This story matters. Now you know, because this isn't just about Cop City. It's about every black woman who's been topless in the backseat of a lie and still managed to stand. Now go do something. Share, comment, organize, because what they strip away, we reclaim. If this story stirred something in you, don't just scroll. Stand up, speak out, share this video so her voice echoes beyond the courtroom. Demand transparency, demand accountability, and if you believe no woman should ever be left violated in silence for hours in the back of a squad car, then say it loud in the comments. We see you. We stand with you, because justice doesn't start in the system. It starts with us. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for turning on that notification button. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate you. Our hearts and minds are clear. Let's go govern ourselves accordingly.